Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Family Law Talk.
Family Law Talk.
Presented by Kirk Stange of Stange Law Firm, PC. Stange Law Firm is a family law firm with offices in Missouri and Illinois. Now, here's your host, Kirk Stange.
Welcome to Family Law Talk. We have an interesting topic today. The topic is talking to kids about divorce. Obviously, this is a very important topic, really a question that parents, when they're going through a divorce or on the verge of a divorce, really ponder about, probably spend a lot of time thinking about. And in a lot of ways, it's the kind of question that individuals, when they're about to go through a divorce or they're going through a divorce and they have kids, can really wrestle with. And for for most parents out there, they struggle with it because they want to say the right things, they want to do the right things, and it's just a big question, important question. And so that's the topic here today. As a follow-up to the episode today, we do have a blog article on this topic on familylawheadquarters.com. There's an article dated December 30th, 2015, titled "What to Tell Your Kids When You're Getting Divorced." So as a follow-up to the episode today, you can definitely go to familylawheadquarters.com and read the blog article as a follow-up on this topic as well. But let's jump into the topic again. So some parties, they haven't filed for divorce yet. Maybe it's a situation where the parents haven't even hired an attorney yet, but both parties to marriage know that the marriage isn't working, that divorce is really inevitable. In some cases, the husband and wife may have sat down and talked and both agreed that they're going to file for divorce. In some cases, it might be a situation where one party has just made the decision that they're going to get divorced, and maybe there hasn't been that sit down with the spouse to talk about the divorce and the fact that they've made up their mind that they want to leave the marriage. But take these cases where there's kids involved, and then, again, there's a lot of delicacy in terms of how this situation needs to be dealt with the kids, because long-term effects of divorce on kids can be hard. Kids can take this, really it can weigh on them. It can be the kind of thing that the children can be devastating to have their parents going through divorce. And so certainly this situation needs to be dealt with in an appropriate manner for parents going through divorce, and it's really vital, that they do that. So in terms of talking about what to say, I think in a lot of ways, one of the things that's really important to do is talk about things parents shouldn't say. So ruling out certain things as sort of a starting point can be important, and then you get to what's appropriate to say to kids and what really isn't appropriate to say to kids. And let me just preface everything by saying this as well. In some instances, it might be important for an individual who's either A, going through a divorce, or B, about to go through a divorce, to sit down with a mental health expert. Could be a counselor, could be a therapist, could be a psychologist. Obviously, different cases have different variables. So parents out there, think about that. If you have questions, if you're unsure, sit down with a professional. That can be one important consideration. Here's another important consideration, something to think about as well, which is, what do the kids already know? In some cases, it might be a situation where there's been fighting and arguing. Maybe the kids are older in age, and so to the kids, they might already know that this is coming. It might not be a shock to them. And in fact, they might, really seen it coming just based on their age and their facts, and the facts of the situation. In some cases, the kids could be younger in age. They might not see this coming at all. To them, it might be totally out of the blue, the situation. And obviously, that's a consideration as well that parents really need to take into effect when they're deciding how to communicate ultimately the fact that a divorce is going to take place to the kids. But let's talk about some things, again, that parents shouldn't say to kids that really are just sort of generally taboo, places parents don't want to go. First on the list, and again, this isn't all-inclusive. These are just some of the things that we reference in the article and really some of the important things. But obviously, parents shouldn't say bad things about the other parent to the kids. When there's anger, maybe there's resentment that's been built up, maybe there's been some hostility that's sitting out there. Some parents might have a desire to do this, which obviously is not a good thing, something parents shouldn't do. Some parents might do this and not even realize they're doing it, and it could be very subtle. In other words, just their body language, when the other parent is brought up, their expressions, really their just whole appearance could sometimes change to where the kids can pick up on this. So again, don't say bad things about the other parent to the kids. Watch the nonverbals as well. The nonverbals can be picked up by kids in that body language, the whole demeanor that you might have when the other parent is brought up. Again, that can really permeate the kids. It can be hard on the kids. So, these are places you don't want to go. You don't want to say bad things about the other parent, and you don't want to communicate in any way, non-verbally as well, bad things about the other parent. Not a good thing. Doesn't make kids feel good. Doesn't make kids feel warm and fuzzy, and it can have long-term implications and effects on the kids. So that's one thing not to do, which is say bad things about the other parent. Two is obviously, and I think this should be obvious to most folks, but maybe to some it isn't, which is why I have on the list, which is obviously don't make the kids feel like they should bear any of the blame or bear any guilt for what has happened. It's hard on kids when parents are getting divorced. But obviously when adults make a decision to leave the marriage, that's an adult decision, and that's decisions that adults ultimately make. But kids should never feel like it's their fault, that if they had done something different, maybe their parents would stay together. These are all very bad things, and you just want to make sure in terms of any communication with your kids, you let them know this isn't their fault. This has nothing whatsoever to do with them. There's nothing they could have done to make the situation different. And so, again, no responsibility being put on the kids. Adults make the decision to get the divorce. The kids should be blameless. The kids should be guilt-free in terms of any communication with the kids. And the third thing I have on the list, and again, not all inclusive, but I think three important things in terms of what not to say, which is don't put the kids in the middle. Don't ask them to take sides, right? Don't ask them to deliver messages. Don't make the kids feel like they need to align with one parent versus the other parent. This is a no-win. It's not good for kids in any shape, matter, or form. Even as a parent, if you think this is going to be successful and you think the kids might want to live with me, if I do this, if I go there, in most instances this backfires, and if the court finds out you've done it, it's not going to look good. It could be a situation where you end up with less custody time because you've gone here. So you definitely don't want to do it just from a practical matter in terms of court, but then in terms of psychology, in terms of the mental well-being of your kids, it's not a good thing to put that kind of weight on kids. And it can harm them psychologically, and this can really permeate and really move into adulthood where the kids felt the weight somehow of having to choose between their mom and their dad. So definitely just not a place you want to go. So again, these are three things not to say to kids when a decision to get divorced has been made. So again, just to sort of recap these, don't say bad things about the other parent. Don't do it overtly. Don't do it subtly, right? Two, don't make the kids feel as if they bear any blame or guilt or fault in terms of what took place. Obviously, adults have made the decision to get divorced. Has nothing to do with the kids. The kids should be blameless in this. And then three, don't communicate in any shape, manner, or form that you're asking the kids to take sides between their mom and their dad. Ultimately, this is very harmful to kids, and it can really backfire in a courtroom setting. So in terms of what to say, how to say it, again, the facts are going to be different in different cases. Again, based on the variables in terms of the age of the kids, maybe what they know, what they don't know, that can lend to some differences in terms of how this is approached. And again, consult with a mental health expert. I think that's very, very important. And then if your divorce has been filed already and you have an attorney, obviously you want to consult with your attorney. And if there's a guardian ad litem appointed for the kids, This is something to talk about with the guardian ad litem as well in many cases. But here's one universal thing that I think almost everybody would agree is okay to tell kids when kids are finding out, discovering, if you will, that their parents are going to be getting divorced, and that is that you love them, that it's not their fault, that they don't have to choose between their parents, their mom or their dad. And I think just finally, you want to tell your kids that it's going to be okay. You know it's hard. You know this is difficult for them in a lot of respects, but that it's going to be okay. So if you want to sort of encapsulate this in terms of what you can say is just be loving as a parent, be reassuring to the kids as a parent, and that is always in almost every circumstance okay from a psychological standpoint for your kids, from a mental health standpoint, and then from a legal standpoint in terms of the way a court would look at this. I think most courts, probably I can't think any court who would find this to be negative. So I think, from a practical standpoint in terms of court and custody, being reassuring to your kids is almost always going to be found to be universally a positive thing. So again, that's the topic today, talking to kids about divorce. Definitely an important topic. As a follow-up, go to familylawheadquarters.com, read the article titled What to Tell Your Kids When You're Getting Divorced. That's the episode today. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned to our next episode coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Family Law Talk with Kirk Stange. Visit StangeLawFirm.com for more about today's topic or to put Stange Law Firm to work for your family today. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements. Neither the Supreme Court of Missouri or Illinois reviews or approves certifying organizations or specialist designations. The information you obtain on this podcast is not, nor is it intended to be legal advice. You should contact an attorney for advice regarding your individual situation. We invite you to contact us and welcome your calls, letters, and electronic mail. Contacting us does not create an attorney-client relationship. Please do not send any confidential information to us until such time as an attorney-client relationship has been established. And finally, past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Kirk Stange is responsible for the content. Principal place of business, 120 South Central Avenue, Suite 450, Clayton, Missouri, 63105.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high-fiver? I kind of like the high-five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
I do have a favorite child.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
I use memes as a coping mechanism.
It's Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance. Get up to 60% off select Sealy, plus a free adjustable base, all with free and fast delivery. Deals this big won't last long, so don't miss out. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.